silver and First Republic, and basically repressed rates and commodities as a release valve. Dollar yen is continuing to move higher into that 137, and gold is moving up regardless. Like I said, they're kind of decoupling right now, silver and gold, because of the let's just say nonchalant deal of JP Morgan taking over the financial assets of value when it's not allowed to, right? So the system is absolutely less trustworthy than it was. XME, we're having obviously a strong copper bounce right now, but we do have some nice head and shoulder patterns in XME. And relatively speaking to SPX, we have already broken down. So I'm still seeing risk in the XME contingency, but right now we'll see if it gets back above. And there's a gap fill, by the way, a little bit lower, about 46.5. So this is an area of support that obviously, when broken, will create a nice measured move down to this next area of support. Let's call it 40. So for right now, we do have a gap fill and a head and shoulders in XME. I'm not expecting so much right now in copper and oil and even gold, even though gold is clearly popping up today. The dollar yen last week was a very important move that the market does not recognize yet. So this was a baseline bet back on the 13th, 14th, and I wrote about this going, hey, this does not look like it's going to continue lower into this, level. Now it's absolutely getting supported by Buffett and the rest. So let's just see what happens. But I think this is going to move higher back into 137. We are there today. So that was a baseline bet that we would move higher into 137. Above is obviously very bullish until I would say 140. And I do not think it will be at all easy above this level of 139 and change 140. I think that'll be extremely hard. But if it does, we're in oh my goodness mode. Oh boy. Okay. Market's going to care soon. It doesn't really care about FOMC because it assumes a rate hike. It doesn't really care about Apple because it assumes they will beat. It doesn't really care about non-farm payrolls because they assume the market is still extremely bullish in the economy. But at some point, they are going to care about the dollar yen spiking higher. That's my baseline bet. Very tough. Whoa. Dollar's getting a little bit bid. Another reason also for gold and silver coming back down. I personally think it's this. I think the dollar yen is now starting to get recognized as maybe a little bit of a headwind here for gold and silver bulls. Very much focused on one key driver of potential risk off that the market isn't looking at, and that's the dollar yen, number one. I am very impressed with the gold and silver reversals, which is dramatic. And let's see, copper coming back down with a dollar pop. Let's go look at that. The dollar, worth watching, and Bitcoin, of course, but the dollar in particular. We're pushing on that trend line, trying to get above. Everyone's going to get extremely bullish on the dollar, and I'm going to be like, it's a bounce, right? It's a bounce to 103. I've been saying that every day since it came down to 101. Wouldn't surprise me. We form this kind of inverse head and shoulders and come up to 103. But do keep your eyes very much on the prize. Under the radar, dollar yen absolutely flying higher. So careful on that.